Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Ala Une Sports, episode 57, with your host, Mike and Richie. Always available on Spotify and Apple. And yeah, so we're back, episode 57. What's going on, Mike?
Not much, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Very hectic week in soccer, and basketball too. Yeah, man. But besides that, everything's going well. Can't complain.
A lot's happened since we last recorded.
Yeah, what was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So last time we recorded, what did we discuss on? Oh yeah, we did discuss on Boston Antiques. Nothing has changed on this. At that time we did preview Lakers versus who did Lakers? Oh, Golden State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were still playing.
And Napoli was a champion, but yeah, it was a lot happened. So this week we had Champions League week and Europa League and a Premier League game as well. I can give you guys a quick bites on the Champions League. And so there was the semifinal for Real Madrid Manchester City for the leg 2. But the first game was on Tuesday, May 16. Inter Milan and AC Milan, they won 1-0, so aggregate 3-0. Inter Milan is going to the finals. And the second game of the semifinal was yesterday, where Manchester City crushed Real Madrid 4-0 at the Etihad and aggregate 5-1. So we're going to have a Manchester City Inter Milan final on June 10th, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So, and we had the Europa League as well, and you had a comment for like a penalty, you said, or the refs were.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, Mu did what Mu does. Like,
yeah.
Mu did what Mu does,
Various
man.
ball.
Yeah, so like it was a tough game to watch. I mean, I fell asleep. That's when I ended up taking my nap. You know, Bayer Leverkusen tried to do what they do, but I honestly think the referee was giving Roma a lot of favorable calls. I think the first yellow card even ended up going to Bayer Leverkusen in the first half as well for a Hincapi foul. It was his first foul of the game, but I mean, you know, there were other fouls that Roma was doing that they didn't even get yellow carded for, man. So yeah, I mean, I think they got favorable calls, but Mu did what Mu does. I think
park that bus.
Yeah, man. I think they dominated. Leverkusen dominated possession. I think they had like 28 shot attempts. I don't remember how many were on goal, but
like 23 shot, but 6 on target for Leverkusen, and no shot on target for Roma.
Yep.
There was like just one shot in the beginning with from Perota.
I don't even remember because I got into the game like I think at the 20th minute, and then I fell asleep.
I'm sorry, not Perota. What am I talking about? Pellegrini. Okay. Like the very beginning, he had Tammy Abraham was able to hold the ball and pass it to him, and he did a couple steps and it took a shot. It was like out of target. It wasn't even on target. So,
but that's another Italian team in another European final.
Yeah, and I think Fiorentina is going to the conference finals as well for the Conference League. So
correct,
Italian ball. But yeah, man, it's just like most of the shots I saw from Leverkusen, I don't think they really annoyed Patricio.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was a tough
there
game.
there was some shot from Demirbay. Like he had a lot of shot, but they wasn't really like tough shots. There was a very counter attack from Diaby. He hit the post. I feel like at the last minute, his last touch went a little bit too wide on the right side, but he was able to hit that in a strong manner, and it hit the post. But besides that, there were not so many dangerous shots. I think there was a second shot in the second half where Patricio was not able to handle it. Moon was there for the rebound, but he didn't make it. The defender kicked it out for a corner. But yeah, man, like you said, Moon did it best the way he won,
Hmm.
and he's going to another final. I think he went to a final last year with the Conference League, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like if he wins this, he's gonna leave.
We'll see. There's a lot of rumors about PSG now, so we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, I saw like a meme saying that, guys, are you guys ready to see PSG ball like this next season? It's either him and there's a rumor for Mota also, but that was a quick bite for Europa League and Champions League. But in the Champions League, the second one was Sevilla beating Juventus 2-1, aggregate 3-2. So it's gonna be a final of Sevilla and Roma, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So two great finals. Not sure why
seventh
they put it on a Wednesday, but
seventh Europa League finals appearance for
the
Sevilla.
Sevilla League.
Dude, doesn't matter how terrible these guys are playing, man. Like once they're in Europe, it just seems. I mean, and to be fair, Manchester United gave these guys plenty of confidence, and then they just took it and they drove it straight to the finals.
Yep.
Mhm.
So let's go back to let's kind of circle quickly on the Champions League of a semifinal of Inter Milan and Milan. Are you
Mhm.
shocked that Inter Milan is going to the final against AC Milan, or you expected
Against Man City.
uh, was that?
Against Man City.
No. Were you shocked that it was Inter Milan versus AC Milan? Were you shocked that Inter Milan was the one that is going to the finals against Manchester City?
I mean, when you're looking at their path, no. They all both teams had favorable matchups. Even though I think Benfica should have actually won the tie overall versus Inter, but Inter stepped up, man. They stepped up. They showed out. They played well, and the same thing that they did against in two legs against AC Milan. And unfortunately for AC Milan, they've just hit a wall, man. They haven't been performing well throughout the entire season. They were really, really inconsistent. Maldini came out and even said like some players in the project they really need to step up with like Charles de Catalere, for example. Like they really need to step up. He struggled this year because and they spent a good chunk of money for like for a team that I mean yes they won the league last year, but for a team that really hasn't been appearing on the European stage as much and like until last year they weren't really finishing in the top four consistently. So, was a little bit tight. And, they went out and spent 35 million euros on him and he hasn't been performing. He hasn't come back and been productive for them. So, yeah, it's good to be critical on them, but I'm not shocked. Inter, they have a really good manager and
I
they
think they have
stepped
better
up.
players too.
Yeah, they stepped up and they performed well. Lautaro Martinez, since the World Cup, has been in torrid scoring form. Like he's playing extremely well. He's one of those guys like Higuain. He can't replicate club form for his country. Like he steps into an Argentinian shirt and he just completely forgets how to play football. But yeah, man. So I'm glad for them. I really wish we could have seen maybe a tougher opponent in the finals, but it's the Champions League. We never know what's going to happen, but I mean, like we discussed maybe on the podcast before our last episode, I was, where I was just like, it just seems like Pep is on this run now, man,
Yeah,
and
man.
it seems like it's destined at this point. He's not like even before the game, man. I was just begging. I was like, please, God, like do something, do a overthinking
Put
Pep.
Walker in a double pivot.
Please, anything, man. And then you just see the lineup, and you're like, all right,
I think it's just pain maturity.
yeah, man. It
Like
is.
you've
He's
been so
not.
much in pain, you're like, what's the worst gonna happen? We lose? And they laughed it off, and then no, it's just maturity. Like you like it reminds me of Real Madrid. We were not able to pass the run of 16 at some point, and then boom, you're gonna end up doing it at some point. Um, like you said, yeah, I feel like Inter Milan had a better squad, and also they applied the pressure better, throughout the first two legs. You gotta give props to the guys like Mkhitaryan and Barilla and Kanonoglu. I feel like they controlled the midfield with the support of Dumfries and DeMarco. Um, and also like Zeko, man, like Zeko, um, was like 37 years old.
Yep.
Still shows quality, still shows a great passing. Lautaro, like you said, playing well for his country. Like when Lukaku came in, you feel like he was a little bit more free, which ended up combining with Lukaku for that goal that kind of delivered them to the finals. It's just when you're looking at the squad, you see better quality versus AC Milan. Like Leao missed the first leg, but Leao is a player that can give you like a great counter attack, a
Correct.
great
Correct.
moment. But at the end of the day, to create those moments, you have to have good connecting passes. And you're looking at the second leg, and I tweeted this. I tweeted like AC Milan is just jacking crossing to Casper. Like who guys crossing these? Like they're not going to nobody. It's just that they were cooked, and they felt you felt the difference between Inter Milan and AC Milan. So yeah, man, Milan is blue.
Yeah,
This year.
yep, 100%. They beat them so many times
Yeah, bro.
this
Like
year.
mhm.
And shout outs to Denzel Dumfries. Did a terrific job over the two legs. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, layout. He came back and he still had two opportunities. He didn't capitalize, unfortunately. But
Mhm.
even if he did, it was still gonna be a tough. It was still gonna be a tough out.
Yeah, it's tough. They
Yeah.
just two quick goals in the first leg, and that's it. Like they were able to capitalize in quick moments. Applied a lot of pressure, not letting AC Milan being comfortable to get out. And yeah, when you put teams in an uncomfortable situation and you capitalize on your moments, that's it, bro. It's over. Now you have more control of the legs, second leg at home. Yeah, man, it's like let's transition back to Real Madrid. It's the same thing. Like the Manchester City in the first 15 minutes, they were very comfortable with possession. Rodri had the first shot. Courtois saved them twice, if I'm not mistaken. Two headers by Allen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you almost felt like, oh, like okay, now they're building that confidence. Also, there was like a little probably like concerns about Manchester City, like, oh shit, Courtois is at it again. Is it gonna be one of those games again? But Manchester City was very comfortable finding a lot of spaces behind the fullbacks. The Wodri and Wodri and Stones were very comfortable.
Yeah.
I was gonna yeah. You have anything to add on that leg, like Manchester City, Real Madrid?
100%, man. I think that's when that's the biggest disappointment for me. I mean, I know I didn't get to watch the game. Obviously, I came back home, and I didn't think I'd. I mean, yesterday was just it was a tough day for me specifically. So I didn't want to put myself through any more pain
Oh yeah,
afterwards
you
too
would have been so much pain, bro.
to go rewatch that trouncing that we got as well. Like as a Real Madrid supporter. Um, but that the most disappointing part for me is like watching a good chunk of the highlights, like the extended highlights of seeing like how much space that the midfielders had to operate with City. And that's why I was like, I had asked a question even before I got to see what happened, because I just saw the scoreline while I was still at work afterwards. Would Rudiger have been a better
Option?
a better option, and
Mm.
would benching Rodrigo would have been a better option? And I think possibly it could have been maybe less Rudiger, but more like benching
Rodrigo
Rodrigo and inserting Valverde into that
and
right.
yeah, like an hybrid role, like actually an extra
Exactly.
leg in the midfield.
Exactly, because now you would have Valverde, Cruz, Modric, and possibly Chouameni in that situation to bolster the midfield and defend as a unit. And Kyle Walker came out and afterwards, he said like, yeah, Vinny's great, but if you neutralize him, like, what
What's
else?
next? What's your plan B?
What else? And it's like, dude, like with the amount of room that these guys had to operate with, and you give Kevin De Bruyne so much space on the ball to create. Um,
And
you know,
combine it with Bernardo Silva.
exactly. Like the outcome was inevitable at that point. I was really disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. And a huge criticism that I think even us as supporters we could have of Carlo Ancelotti is the fact that he makes adjustments so late. Like you go into the second half, you don't make any
Yeah,
substitutions when you're down 2-0 already and you need to score goals. Um, Without conceding as well, like you don't make any personnel change, you just make a little tactical adjustment. Yeah, it was really disappointing, but you got to tip your hat off to Manchester City. They did excellent. Bernardo Silva is one hell of a player. Courtois showed his class last night. But yeah, man.
playing hurt as well.
Yeah, yeah, and we gotta tip our hat off to them. We gotta tip our hat off. I gotta give respects to Jack Grealish. Apologies, like you're coming to being worth the £100 million that they spent for you. You're even though like his goal production isn't there, but you can't deny that he's not an integral part of what Manchester City does this like and has done this year in the incredible form that they are with Haaland. Um, but and with saying that as well, we have to criticize some players in Real Madrid. Valverde, I don't know what's up with him. Like this guy has been sleeping.
MIA.
Like he's been sleeping since February. Like if again, I've
What's
said
this
it.
Pokemon that's always sleeping?
Snorlax,
Yeah,
the big
that's
one.
him. That boy's sleeping, bro.
Oh man, yeah, and Militao. I mean, some people say like, yeah, he played a decent game yesterday. From what I saw, I'm gonna still hold up my criticism of him. But again, it's just tough because the whole team was subpar. Modric played probably one of his worst games
Yeah, man.
in
One
a
thing
Real
they did with
Madrid
Modric
shirt.
as well with the double pivot of Manchester City, they they did a lot of smart actions where Rodri and Stones would create space from themselves, allow asking Modric to commit in those situations so they can find space behind Modric, or sometimes when Rodri and Stones had the ball when there was no ball pressure, they were able to find the wingers like Jack Grealish or Bernardo Silva. One thing also with those two wingers, they found a lot of when they cut in, they found a lot of space to find the crosses or the right passes, one
Hmm.
twos. So yeah, they were just one step ahead and finding spaces to hurt Real Madrid, and then from there, Real Madrid was never able to recover.
Hmm. And we also got to talk about Benzema, man. I think it's good. I think it's becoming obviously clear. I mean, I still have the utmost confidence in him, but again, he's 35 years old, and I think,
He needs a lot of support because I feel
yeah,
like Benzema can still give you another season, not as many games, but you have to give him support.
yeah,
Benzema cannot be always coming down the field, roaming around. He doesn't have the age to be doing that. So yeah,
yeah. That just showed the lack of options that Real Madrid has in attack right now.
let's
As
actually talk
a
about that. What do you think a lot of talks about like the end of a cycle or a beginning of a new cycle, end of the cycle. Perez is mad. He's gonna be it's gonna be an intense summer. What's your thought about first? Is it the end of a cycle? And as well, who are you expecting to come in terms of positioning to kind of um get it going for next season?
I mean, it's tough because I mean, obviously, if Fabrizio Romano says it, that means it's facts, man. So
Here we go.
Jude Bellingham has agreed to his contract with Real Madrid. Now it's all about he agreed personal terms with Real
Yeah,
Madrid, not a
20 million
contract,
euros, looking
not a
like a
co-
9 year deal.
yeah, not a contract, but personal terms. But now
Personal term.
it's
They
not
haven't
about
talked to Borussia yet.
exactly. Now it's about negotiating with Borussia on a transfer fee. So we don't know how much that's going to cost. And over the last couple of seasons with Real Madrid's transfer policies, we don't really know what's really going to happen. They're unable to get Hazard off the wage bill, which is a guy that we need to get off the wage bill. We know Mariano's gone. It's not like he was eating a good chunk of the wage bill, anyways. We don't know what's Asensio. There's talks about renewing his deal, so it's tough, man. Like we know
And you also
Osimhen
got Ceballos still like talking about the contracts as well. But
exactly.
I
So
imagine someone like Ceballos is kind of like concerned
yeah, Bellingham.
with the rival, possible rival of Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, he will fall even more down the pecking order, and we know Cruz is signed on for another year as well, and he's the GOAT midfielder with Luka Modric as well. So, these the old guard, we still have the young guys, but we see their inconsistencies. Like again, we didn't think Valverde would have dropped so bad, like so badly this year. So are they ready to take on Europe on a consistent basis yet? I don't know, but the most glaring thing is, the lack of depth in attack, and we definitely need a striker. And the strikers that are available on the market are guys like Osimhen, but Osimhen that you hear about, like his girlfriend or his wife, that she likes Germany. She's German or something like that, and she wants to go back to Germany. And you hear Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich is like, we don't know if we want to really mess up our wage structure and pay $100 million for this guy. So I don't know, man. And would Osimhen be a right fit at Real Madrid? Don't know. Mbappe, we know what his situation is in PSG. I don't even want to go there anymore.
He's
This
in
guy,
jail.
yeah, this guy's frustrating, anyways. And I'm pretty sure with him re-signing a deal, like it would take an astronomical number to actually
And
get
Paris is not.
exactly.
Paris is not trying to do that. What he did. He did over summer, back and forth for 220 million and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I only see 2025 free negotiating with the player and his agent. That's the only thing I see. But right now, I don't. There's not gonna be no Mbappe arrival in 2023. It's not gonna
Correct.
happen.
And now and the other only option is what you spoke about, and I mean you spoke about it, so I'll let you take the reins for it.
What option?
The youth option, like Real Madrid needs to
Yeah.
start.
So I feel like when I hear end of a cycle, I don't think it's an end of a cycle because we still have new players that came in. You have Chouameni came in. You have Rodrigo and Vinicius, two young players, or not even 24 yet. Um, and you have Camavinga, who's 20 years old. Valverde is a young guy.
Mhm.
Militao is young. Um, I even think Rudiger is not even 27 yet, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's old.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to squeeze some 20s and shit. But that's more than 4-5 players I just named that are like 25 or less. So Real Madrid is still implementing new players. My only concern is that we need to have these young players playing more. Like Camavinga needs to be playing in the midfield more. It can't be stuck in the left back position. We need to have, when there's Copa del Rey, Ancelotti needs to give some chances to some players like Arribas, Nico Paz, Alvaro. You need to understand what their strength is in order to know when to implement them in the first team, even if it's for 5 minutes. You need to know. And Ancelotti has done a poor job implementing those young players. Alvaro played like two good games with the senior team, and then he just disappeared. Why? Rudiger just played a great defensive a defensive player. Why did he not start? I'm not gonna blame. I don't think it would make a difference to me because the way they were able to operate spaces, I don't think Rudiger would be able to change anything. But it's just that I feel like Ancelotti is a little bit too what would I say, like loyal to players that he knows. You need to start mixing around. So players like Jude Bellingham, I know if Jude Bellingham comes in, he's gonna start. He's gonna be learning from Modric and Coast. I think Modric's gonna be cut a lot of his minutes. I know Real Madrid is probably gonna look at to see if they can sign a backup striker. If not, Alvaro is gonna be that backup striker. I was thinking about a 4-2-3-1 in the future, man. Like a double pivot of Tchouaméni and Camavinga, where Camavinga has a lot of liberty to kind of move around, but Tchouaméni has to stand still, support the defense when they have to get out. And then Rodrigo as a 10. Sorry, not Rodrigo as a 10. Bellingham as a 10, and Rodrigo as a right wing, but with the liberty to cut in because he likes to play behind the striker, so he can kind of be close to Benzema, so he can have a lot of combination, and that would limit Benzema to keep on running around because he's gonna get a little bit older, so he's not gonna have that much pace. And then you have Vinicius on the left doing what he wants. I was thinking about that, but Ancelotti is a 4-3-3 guy, so we know it's gonna be a 4-3-3. But yeah, we have to start implementing those young guys. Let them. I don't know what the expression I can say. Let them lose so they can learn.
Yeah.
Let them lose so they can learn.
Pain is a great teacher.
And Benzema's not gonna be here
Pain
much
is,
longer. Let
Pain
them
is
young
a great
guys
teacher.
figure it out. Pain.
Yeah, I like it.
So that's what I think. But yeah, shout out to Manchester City reaching the finals again. Hopefully they get this one because I know they've been suffering a lot, and I feel like they're the better team. But it is one final, and I know Inter Milan is gonna get ready. They're not gonna like put themselves out there to Manchester City to exploit the spaces. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a good final. So we'll see.
June 10th.
Yeah, I thought you said Juneteenth. I'm like, what? Yeah. So we're kind of done with soccer. We'll be back in next episode to probably talk about like possible players joining new teams, but we will leave that for another day. We'll move on to a basketball playoffs 2023.
Yes, sir.
Finals. And before we get to the conference finals, we have to speak about two things. We have Doc Rivers that was dismissed as a coach for Philadelphia. He's been heavily linked with Suns. Is it only Suns he's been linked?
So far, yes.
Bucks, no. Who's been linked with Bucks? Nick Nurse.
Bucks have been linked with a whole bunch of losers, to be honest. Outside of Nick Nurse, like talking about.
Is it JJ Redick too?
No, JJ Toronto. They were talking about Scott Brooks, one of the assistants on what team? I think was it Atlanta? No. One of the assistants from one of those teams as well. I was like, dude, who are you guys looking at to coach Giannis, man? Like, come on, dude. Like,
they did ask Giannis the question the other day on live. We're like, come to Golden State. He's like, I don't know who he was looking at. He's like, they asked me to come to Golden State. Hey man, he wasn't mad about that, but yeah.
So I was like, with the rumors that surfaced today about Bob Myers probably parting ways with the Golden State Warriors, being on a championship team, like it's probably very taxing. Year in, year out, you have to retool the team. You have to talk to a lot of players about, their contract extensions and their situations. And so I'm pretty sure like it's very stressful for him. And he's been at the job for I think maybe 7 or 8 years now in this run. So I don't know. He might want to, like, if it is true, like he might want to take a year off and then come back to the job. But I was like, I think the GM for the Bucks his name is John Horst, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's a terrible GM.
Bob Myers.
Yeah, like it's one of those situations that, like, if a guy becomes available,
you got to look at it, especially if he has been very successful.
If a guy becomes available and that is talent and it's guaranteed talent, it's like Masai Ujiri says.
Knicks should take a look at it.
It's like Masai Ujiri saying, like, yo, you know what? I'm resigning my job from the Toronto Raptors. I don't care what franchise you are and how happy you are with your GM. If you're not named Sam Presti or Greg Popovich from OKC and the San Antonio Spurs, respectively, you fire anybody anybody in that GM position that you
call
have.
Them right now, be like, I'm so sorry, boss. Like, we gotta part ways.
Like you call Masai first, and it's like, yo, hey, how would you feel about becoming the GM of our franchise? He's like, yeah, don't you have somebody? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Just check your email, and then the tickets is already booked. I mean, the private jet's coming their way right now.
But yeah, man. So I mean, we'll see what happens, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's those situation. Everyone has to take a look at it. Even like I said, the Knicks, everyone. If it does happen, the second news that we had, it's been probably like, it's been a week or Sunday. When did it happen?
Ja Morant.
Yeah, Mr. Ja Morant.
Damn, I don't even remember. I think it was Sunday. It had to be a weekend
or Monday morning. Yeah, I think it was Monday morning.
Okay.
Or Sunday morning. But so quick. So Ja Morant was seen again on live on Instagram with his friend, flashing a gun, and quickly, Memphis Grizzlies was the first to take action, suspending all activities. Then now the NBA is aware and are investigating first, as Adam Silver's discussed during the draft night. Then they will make the decision, but it's not looking good from the way he was talking. He looks very disappointed, especially he said like he just talked to him. It was like 2 months ago.
Yep. 2 months
but
ago.
he had like an 8 or 9 game suspension. Now it's gonna look like it's gonna be more. And also there was a rumor, I cannot prove it yet, but they said that you cannot find Ja Morant's signature shoes on Nike. I don't know if it's very true. But Mike, what is your reaction from what you've seen from Ja Morant? Do you care? Do you don't give a shit, or like, or next? Should we go to the next topic?
No. I mean, I do care because I do care. Like, there's a lot of pundits. I can't say there are a lot of pundits, but I saw this one unique take and I was so confused about it. I don't know if you saw it, but I didn't want to discuss it with you prior because I wanted to save it for the podcast to see what you thought about. But JJ Redick went on First Take and had this unique perspective of defending Ja Morant because like he was 23 years old and he didn't do anything illegal. And JJ Redick is usually on the correct side of things.
Yeah.
But that take was so confusing to me, like because Mad Dog Chris Mad Dog was killing Ja Morant. Like he was, I mean,
of course,
as the white angry man that he is, he was killing him. He's like,
of course,
he's like this version of ESPN Skip Bayless. Like he was killing him, dude. But I was just so confused about like, Ja Morant didn't do anything illegal. Like, why should he be getting a 40-game suspension when he didn't do anything illegal and he's 23 years old? Dude, we just had this conversation a month and a half ago, dog. We warned you. You have a morality clause. You have $200+ million to represent your franchise and represent the league. And that is not brandishing a firearm and just playing with it like it's a toy. That is the problem. You could show a collection of firearms.
Yeah.
Like you could be, I was making the joke. I was going to make the joke on here. And before I saw that, Richie, I said like, you know what? Ja Morant should lean in and said, he just should come out and say, hey man, I love guns. I just love guns. I love guns so much that I like to play with guns. And that's what he should have said. That's what the joke I was going to make. But I just didn't understand it from JJ Redick because it's just like, dude, like you're playing with it like it's a toy. And you're listening to like, the hip hop music, chilling with your boys. And like, the persona just seems like, you want to be a thug.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense to me. And like, yes, I understand like he's 23 years old. We all make dumb decisions at 23 years old.
Of course.
But the fact is that Adam Silver just had this conversation with you. They suspended you. They gave you a light tap on the wrist. They gave you an 8-game suspension. You can't come back to the playoffs because it's your first offense. They understand that you have that you're 23 years old. You're the face of the league. And they're like, oh, we had a conversation with this kid. This kid is really mature and he understands that the position that and the influence that he might have on other people. And then 2 months later, you out chilling with your boys in the whip again. Your boy wants some clout. He hops on Instagram Live and you decide the gun was nowhere in sight. You decide to just lift the gun up. It was like, yo,
that song is banging.
It's like, yo, come on, man. It's like, dude, like he's just really stupid and immature, in my opinion. I don't understand what type of life you're living in that you need to carry at all times at this age. Like, who are you hanging around with that's targeting you at all times like that? Like, and if it's that bad, it's like, I'm pretty sure your team has handlers and they could hire security for you. You won't even have to hire them on your end because they understand that you're the breadwinner for them at this point. Like they would hire security for you, in my opinion. So if you're that worried, like, And again, like he's again Memphis is I think is an open carry state as well, if I'm not mistaken. So even like I
It's
don't
not
know if
even about like having a
it's
gun. That's fine.
yeah, it's about just trying like showing it off and playing it like as a toy, and that just left a bad taste in my mouth. Personally, I was just like, dude, that's just like distasteful, man. It's like we have friends that love guns, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but would they be around like brandishing and it's like, yo, dog, it's like ha ha ha,
Yeah,
like
it's a very dangerous tool. So I don't. Yeah, and there's many people who owns guns, like white, black, Spanish. It's a tool for certain people. It's self defense.
exactly,
Another for other people, it's a tool that they love going to the gun range. They love
exactly.
the handle or the sound or something.
Hmm.
It's a different tool for everyone. But in terms of like what you were discussing with JJ Redick, I was kind of shocked too when I didn't kind of watch the whole clip, but I was kind of shocked that he was on the wrong side this time.
Yeah, it was like,
And it's not even about a side to me. It's just like you said, it's just the nature of the situation. Like you said, 2 months ago, he was caught with a gun in the club, flashing it around a lot of people on live. Many people saw it. Like we said, you're playing for a big company, probably one of the biggest company in the United States. You're making a lot of money, and when you work for a company, there are guidelines, there are
100%.
codes. Like when you started with job, Mike, when I started my job, we sat in front of a computer in the back. We wasted probably like 5-7 days. And we were looking at the codes. There are
Yep.
codes. There's certain
Code of
things you're not supposed
conduct.
to do. No, you don't like it, you walk out. All right. Ain't nobody gonna stop you. They're gonna hire someone probably tomorrow. The person they
Simple
said
as
no
that.
yesterday, they're gonna say yes. Uh, so their NBA is probably have like the highest moral codes because they're trying to sell image not only to the US, abroad, anywhere else. And there's codes like they don't want you to play with guns. And I'm pretty sure it's not the first NBA player who had a problem with the situation. But to do it twice in less than 6 months is crazy to me. Because I'm not judging him for having a gun. You can have a gun, like you said. Many of our friends has guns, self defense, or any situation you want. But it's just that when you're representing a company that don't want that image to surface around, and then, like you said, your own life, you just got suspended 2 months ago. The music is kicking, you're vibing, no problem, but you're flashing the gun again. Like it's like, okay, you did not learn from the meeting that you had.
Yep.
You don't want to make more money. You don't want to create that generational wealth for your family. Come on, bro. Like, it's just to me, what was more disappointing is just that it happened 2 months ago, and then you do the
Yeah.
same thing. And I don't even care about no apologies because at the end of the day, first time, yeah, it might be a mistake. It's a reaction. Second time, like everyone said, most of the people said it's a decision at this point. And I don't
Yeah.
understand it. I don't understand the decision that was made to jeopardize.
And
Is it
that's and
is
that's
it that yeah, sorry.
no, go go go
Now I
go.
was gonna say quickly, is it because you think that, hey, what's the worst that can happen? Another fucking 20 days, 20 game suspension. I'm back. I don't know, man. It's just that it didn't make any sense to me. I know he said he's going through a lot, but that doesn't it should never result on making a mistake
Yeah, it's like, dude,
twice
yeah,
in such a small period of time.
it's like, yeah, you're going through a lot, but like, what's the is that the stress reliever to turn up in the whip with your boys, like listening to trap music and Brent?
Yeah, I was
Like,
gonna say like
it's
going
like,
through a lot. I don't think
like,
I don't think NBA young boy is gonna make a change of helping you with therapy
like,
because NBA young boy music is very like intense, very intense lyrics, very intense hardcore hip hop. So I don't think that's gonna be a good therapy for you. It's gonna
and
put you through more intensity.
yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people are calling for a heavy suspension, and I'm all for it. It's gonna suck, not seeing this guy on the basketball court, but at this point, it's just like
It sucks for Memphis too.
you're just making a light of the situation, and it's like, yeah, like you're one of the biggest, if not the biggest asset in the league. But it's at this point, it's like, oh yeah, like man, I gotta go on like a 10-day vacation in Florida. Like, yeah, I went to therapy in Florida. Ha
Yeah,
ha
right.
ha. And it's like, dude, you're just making a mockery of your employers. You're
Yeah.
making a mockery of, the
Of
NBA,
yourself, your family, your
so
race.
100%. I'm in for the heavy. I'm in for the heavy hammer, bro. Like suspending for half the season if you have to, no pay. Like so you sacrifice half your salary right there so that you start learning, dog. Like this isn't cool. Like this
We
isn't
might
cool.
not see him for the rest of 2023.
Yeah. So suspended from all team activities pending league review for the summer. So we'll see what happens, but. It don't look good because we
Nah, it
saw
don't
on
look
the
good.
we saw on the live, man. Even his friend didn't think he was gonna pull out the Thule.
His friend was like, bruh. Yeah, they were jamming to some new NBA YoungBoy music, but come on, man. Like, and I was watching a short clip of NBA YoungBoy talking about his music and kind of saying that, yeah, my music is very intense. It's not very good for the young crowd. And I take full responsibility of what I'm saying on the lyrics. But at the end of the day, you have the responsibility to kind of separate what is being said in the music and your real life. Someone like John Wayne should, what are you doing interpreting whatever he's saying in the lyrics? You're in a position that doesn't require that. And I see a lot of young athletes who are very attached to his music. It's not a problem, but it's just that how can you not separate it? You're in a good position. Oh well,
Yep.
we'll see what happens.
We shall see, man.
Yeah, man. Before we quickly get into the both series quickly, we don't have much time, but I just wanted to give the 2022 NBA draft lottery order.
Mm.
1 is San Antonio Spurs, 2 is Charlotte Hornets, 3 is Portland Blazers, who are heavily linked of trading that a pick to get someone to help Mr. Lillard. 4th is Houston Rockets, 5th Detroit Pistons, 6 Orlando Magic, 7 Indiana Pacers, 8 Washington Wizards, 9 Utah Jazz, 10th Dallas Mavericks, who keeps their picks because if it fell under 10, if it went to 11, the Knicks would have got the pick. 11 Orlando Magic again via Chicago. I guess you guys had a trade. 12 Oklahoma, City Thunder, 13 Raptors, and 14 New Orleans Pelicans.
Yep.
So it means number 1 is gonna go to Spurs, and they're definitely gonna get the French prospect. Bonjour.
Wemby. Lucky bastards, man. I mean,
how do you pronounce his full name? Victor Wembanyama?
Victor Wembanyama.
Okay, you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
You saw the clip Mbappe talking to him, and his head was like this.
No, I didn't see
bro,
that.
that's how
I
tall
didn't
this
see that.
guy is. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Gobert has to look up at him, so that's pretty freaking tall, man.
That bro, you
But
crazy.
we shall see. I mean, Spurs have been suffering for the last couple of seasons, especially after trading DeJounte Murray last year. Ended up, and they end up with the number 1 pick. He's going to a great franchise. Hopefully Doc, I'm saying Doc, hopefully Pop could stay around for hopefully Pop could stay around for maybe 3-4 years to coach him. And guide him through, because he's gonna need it, because I think he's gonna probably struggle a little bit with the physicality of the NBA. I saw what Kenny Lofton did to him a couple of times.
Memphis?
Yeah. So
big guy. Big boy.
Yeah. So we shall see. But yeah, definitely the guy to go for. Congrats to them.
Congrats. Popovich was on his way to retirement. Now he got to still work. But yeah. Let's quickly move to the series. Any specific series you want to start first, Mike?
I mean, let's start with what's fresh on our minds, man. Last night,
yes, sir.
Miami Heat once again goes on the road and steals game 1.
Just like they did against the Knicks.
Just like they did against the Bucks.
True. They just have a great coach. We don't say that enough, but Spo is a very great coach.
100%.
Someone that adjusts quickly. They don't wait till the game is over. But yeah. So yesterday they won 123 against Celtics 116. That was game one at the TD Garden. A game that the Celtics played very well in the first half. They were finding the gap. They were banging the paint. It didn't matter. The zone defense didn't matter. They were able to break that, like you said, most of the time. Ways to break the zone cuts,
ball movement,
and then the third quarter happened. And the third quarter happened. I put up the wrong Word document. What is this? But yeah, so and quickly some stats. So in the first half, for 24 minutes, Celtics had 40 points versus 16 points in the glass. First half. So everything was going well. What can you say about, again, what happened in the third quarter? What's in your mind?
I mean, I think the best people to go to, I mean, if people didn't watch it, or if they're listening to us, if you want to stay and listen, that's very appreciative of we really appreciate you guys listening to us.
Oh yeah, we do.
Is the fact that it's effort, man. Like, fast break points for the Miami Heat, like, when they're going out and running in transition, and you see the guys and their effort running back. My thing, like, the most disappointing thing about this Boston Celtics team is the fact that, like, dude, like last night, like, you give up 123 points to the Miami Heat, and, like, no disrespect to the Heat, man, no disrespect to the Heat, but they're not a team that should be scoring 110 points. Like, they're just not. Like, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Bam Adebayo. Yes, they have a lot of spread threats on the 3-point line with Kyle Lowry, with Gabe Vincent, with Max Strus, with Duncan Robinson, but they should not be scoring 110 points. And you're looking at a Boston Celtics team that has Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Marcus Smart. Arguably, like, you have a hope, and you have Williams in the paint. This team is full of length and size. That like you like, that's just elite defense on every level, like, whatsoever, and you cannot defend anybody. That's, like, the most disappointing and frustrating team about this Boston Celtics team. Like, how are you not able to stay in front of your man and defend? Like, it is just confusing to me. Like, Bam is being aggressive. I understand that. You could probably send less double teams at Jimmy Butler because of, obviously, again, there's the threat of the 3-pointer. But that's not what you do. And the fact that, like, you can't have Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, these guys unable to really stop anybody, like, it's just confusing to me. So it's really a question of effort. I mean, we joked last night. We thought Joe Mazzulla was just he was just posturing, like he's acting like he's angry, throwing his clipboard on the floor.
Yeah.
But
this ain't you, man.
Like, I mean, like, we know when Ime was mad, like, he was, like, that boy was tight, like, that boy
when he was mad at Grant Williams. But yo, come over here.
That boy was pissed. So, like, yeah, I really got to start questioning Boston's effort, and we really have to start appreciating coaching a lot more. And it's less about talent, it's more about cohesion and team building when it comes, like, especially in these playoffs, when you're looking at teams like, yes, the Denver Nuggets have a wealth of talent on their squad, but I think they're extremely well coached and well prepared. And we got to say that for the Miami Heat, man, they know what they want to do. The TNT crew said it perfectly with Shaq, Charles, Kenny, and Ernie. They said it perfectly, man. Like, Shaq said, like, yo, they play one way. The Celtics are always up and down, but Spo just knows what he's doing, man. And you're getting whooped by a whole bunch of guys that went undrafted. Like, it's an undrafted backcourt of Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, and they are cooking you.
They're
guys.
Cooking them.
Like, come on. Like, show some pride, man. So I want to see what happens tomorrow and if these guys are going to respond, because if they go down 0-2,
it's over.
And like Kyle Lowry said, they're gonna be greedy and they're gonna go for a steal. Dude, you got to come out and punch these guys in the mouth and let them know and assert dominance, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you got to do. If you want to put this Miami Heat team down, that's what you're going to have to do, because they got that dog in them, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. They scored 46 points in the third quarter versus 25 points in Boston Celtics. That's what resulted Mazzulla being very pissed off. It kind of reminds me of the Nuggets when Carl got a little bit scared and be like, "Yo, we not playing any defense right now," and that's gonna transition to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, 100%.
The Boston had a better fourth quarter, but it goes back to the same things. When it gets towards the end, they start acting stupid.
It's just the same. It's just the same way that they almost lost Game 6 versus Philly. Like, yes, Jason Tatum went 3 quarters playing like straight garbage, and then in 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes of the game, like, he decided to finally show up to work.
Well, that was the opposite. Like, he didn't show up to work because he didn't attempt any field goal in the fourth quarter. Most of the offense was trying to be generated by Brogdon or Jaylen Brown, and Brogdon was one in a situation where he missed one free throw, and Tatum, when he finally almost took initiative to do something, he had three turnovers in less than 90 seconds.
Terrible.
So,
and
yeah,
I'm thinking about a less is more approach in this new NBA, but you probably need, like, because I'm looking at things that happened in Golden State with Steve Kerr, where Klay Thompson was just jacking bad shots after bad shots because his name is Klay Thompson. Jordan Poole, terrible. And, there's no real accountability in saying, like, hey, these guys are playing bad. Let me sit them. Like you sat Jordan Poole. You ain't sit Klay Thompson down. Like, I think there should be a less is more approach now, because, like, I think coaches, like, because with this new era, like, everybody's in their feelings and they're sensitive with these new players and stuff like that. But I don't think, like, there's that in Miami. I think we saw it. Was it this season that Jimmy and Spo got into it and they got heated?
And then Haslem was like, "Yo,
yeah." So that's what you need, man. You need that type, but you also need the GM to back you up. And then we know the Don is in the back, and Pat Riley. Pat Riley's going to back his guy Spo that he put in charge. So there's this culture and there's this mentality. And I feel like there's this little, like, people don't really want to hurt their feelings in Boston of, like, oh, Jaylen Brown, you do your thing. Tatum, you do your thing. Do your thing when you get it. It's like, yo, Mazzulla. Like, if Jason Tatum is that nice guy, he ain't got that dog in him. He ain't Kobe Bryant, right? He's not going to go and demand the ball. You call a timeout and it's like, hey, man, this guy's the guy. Y'all need to give him the ball. He's going to initiate my offense. Like, that's what you got to do. But, like, people got to stop being in their feelings. I don't really know what's going on in Boston. It's really weird. If they lose the series, they got to blow it up, man. Like, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
They're not like they're I forgot the stat, but they've been to the conference final, like, in the past 7 years, like, a lot of times.
Yeah,
more than 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. So
that team is always there. But at some point, like, and it's a big if, because there's a lot of basketball left to be played. Obviously, there's a lot of basketball left to be played. But Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Coach Spo, they're not going to go down.
If you let them in a positive vibe, a positive trend, it's going to be hard to take him out, especially after the game 1. They're like Jimmy Butler said, I don't care if you picked us to win or lose. 100%. Boston, I'm on my way.
100%, man. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Second series, the Denver Nuggets and the Lakers. There's a game tonight at 8:30 in about 20 minutes and so, or less. 15 minutes. What am I talking about? My fault. So Denver took game 1, but to me, I'm more concerned for Denver than Lakers. Because from what I saw in the game 1, the Lakers came with 0 intensity in defense,
right?
Fast break points, like the coach was saying. They were not getting back on defense that resulted in some points. And there was a play where Jokic found a Pope in the cut, and then D'Lo was just called ball watching. I just felt there was no intensity in defense, but somehow, even when it was 20 points, the Lakers were almost every time was able to cut it by either 13-10 until they made that late run in the fourth quarter. Towards the end of the third quarter, going to the fourth quarter, and you saw like the concern of the coach. That's when I was like, What do you think about the series? Are you
Yeah,
concerned for the Denver Nuggets? Are they gonna be hot like this, where Porter hit like a crazy corner
yeah,
three,
step back three.
Kyrie
Yeah,
did something, and then
yeah,
LeBron gave him a thumbs up, and then Jokic with that crazy three where AD was smiling and be like, "Yo, it's that night. I don't give
yeah,
a fuck about that."
yeah, for sure, man. I'm always concerned about that team because I think, I think the one constant on this team, the one guy I know that is going to show up is Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Jamal Murray, man. I don't know if he's going to show up. Like this guy, like he's inconsistent in my opinion as well. Um, I just don't know. Like sometimes, like yeah, he'll put up great stats, but the volume that he's shooting at is not efficient enough for me. So I'm always concerned about that because Denver needs the other guys to actually perform well in order for them to actually be able to win out games. So that means Michael Porter Jr., that means Aaron Gordon has to play well, and that means Brown has to play well as well. Is it Brown?
Yeah, Brown
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
Bruce,
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Bruce. KCP is like he's a constant as well. He's always going to be solid. He's going to give you
He's a
great
veteran
defense.
too, and then
Yeah, he's going to give you
somehow.
great defense. So I'm not too concerned about them, but I'm always concerned overall about this team because I think they're really inconsistent. But we could also say the same thing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Like Anthony Davis had a monster game in game one, but it was an odd number game. And what everybody keeps saying is that even number games, this dude always performs like shit. So tonight we're gonna see what happens with Anthony Davis. Yes, they figure out a nice little tactic of putting Rui Hachimura on Jokic and using Anthony Davis as a free roamer, like so that he could play more help defense, et cetera, et cetera. But those guys are also inconsistent. It's not all the time that we see Austin Reeves put up the great performances that we're accustomed to. He was struggling a lot in the last series versus the Golden State Warriors until the very last game. Same thing could be said for Dennis Schroeder, for example. So, it's a team of inconsistencies and
D'Lo
ups and
sometimes is
downs.
inconsistent as well.
100%. So I'm gonna be watching this game really closely tonight. Thankfully, I'm off and I can watch this game.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, Denver came out. I watched the first quarter. They punched the Lakers in the mouth. They just were running. I think Jokic had like 10 rebounds in the first quarter. Like
Yeah,
so,
like a double already. Like, bro,
so
they should put him in foul trouble because he can't guard 80 for nothing.
he can't guard anything for nothing.
It's good. This dude walks like a penguin, but
Yeah.
my God, what a baller.
Yep. So what do you think? What are you saying?
I want to say that the Lakers smell blood and they're confident about that loss. They're not worried. Like the coach says, I'm not even worried about it. I can see a scenario where it goes 1-on-1 tonight. They're gonna attack, they're gonna punch Denver first. It depends of the adjustment Denver makes. But I feel like the Lakers gonna be able to punch first. Kind of limit Jokic early on with the like affecting the court, like letting these guys feel themselves while he's getting his point. I feel like they're gonna limit. I want them also to try to put Jokic in a tough situation early on. Like attack him, make him defend, make him go sit down in the first 6 minutes, and then have the other guys figure out their game. Are they gonna be able to, like you said, how inconsistent sometimes the Denver Nuggets is. And I feel like this is a situation that's gonna happen. We're gonna see Jokic in the first two early fouls. He's gonna sit, and then the Lakers gonna get a nice run, control the game, and then from there close it out 1-1. That's how I see tonight. What do you say?
Um,
2-0. I feel like you want to say it.
I want to say 2-0 because it's still in Denver.
Yeah.
So I think the altitude is going to play a part. I mean, but they've been there for a couple of days now, so they probably adjusted already. So they'll be less fatigued throughout the game. So I'm expecting better energy to start the game, but yeah, I want to say two now. I don't think they can. I don't think Denver could afford splitting.
Going down 1-1.
Yeah, I don't think they could split right now. Like if they split, the series ends 5. Like,
what about the Celtics and the Heat? What do you say for game 2? I say 1-1.
It has to be 1-1. It has to be. There's no way. Like I can't.
Mike's like, you better.
Like, dude. Like if it goes 0-2, dude. If it goes down 0-2, let's do the Shaq joke. Just take one outfit to South Beach. Just bring one.
Because you guys gonna stay there.
Just bring one outfit, bro. Just stay.
Tibbs is still in Miami right now. Yeah.
Don't even.
All right, let's see how that game is gonna go. We're gonna closely watch that game and come back next week for more analysis or fanatic opinion. If I may say, I don't want to say analysis. I'm not an analyst.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're just fans talking about.
We're just fans talking crap and talking about what we're observing. All right. Any last thing you want to add, Mike?
Nah, that's it, man.
I wanted to add one more thing that has nothing to do with NBA. For Demon Slayer, I was watching the first minutes, and what's the guy with the fire hair?
Rengoku?
Yeah, so he went to this train station, right? There was like two guys. There was a little girl and a grandma selling food.
Yeah,
and the little girl was like, "Oh, there's no demons." I'm like, "Yo, where are you nuts? Like, are you not living in the same country as there? Like, you didn't see any news about no demons? There's a demon 2 blocks away right now, bro. Like, what are you talking about?" I was pissed off when she said that.
Oh man,
Yo,
I'm
demon 2 blocks away.
I'm glad you enjoyed the show though. I was so happy. I got to shout out Bert for that, man, because Bert is the reason why I ended up really watching Demon Slayer. Like out of everybody, like, and especially like me being the anime fan that I am, I didn't even really want to watch it, and then he came to me and was like, "Nah, it's really good," and then now I went to watch it, and it's like one of my favorite shows.